in chains. By show of hands, who else is sick and tired of the same? 1% trying to keep us small, trying to keep us from getting out. Minimizing the struggles they've caused, saying we're not working hard enough. No! Day after day, we're working it all away. They keep poking the bear, and they're bound to get made. So I'll raise my glass for the hard-working class. Keep your fires burning hot. We can't be silent.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the thousands in attendance and for the millions watching at home, DCK Productions proudly brings to you the greatest podcast in the world! The greatest podcast in the world? Suck it. No, you suck it. No, you suck it. No, you suck it. No, you suck it. I appreciate it if you both suck it. Suck it!
We really should stop this fighting. Otherwise, we'll miss the fireworks.
There won't be any fireworks.
And here we go. And welcome, everybody, to Suck It. I am the great and powerful King of Kings, Prince of all that is awesome. Derek, how is everybody this evening? It is a Monday, start of another fantastic week. I mean, like, it's a killer week ahead of us. Tomorrow, I've got an amazing guest that I will announce later. I've been saying it's a mystery guest, but it's so much more than that. And then following him is a performance from rap artist Jay Sun. I had him on a couple weeks ago. Then on Wednesday, I have the star of the new movie, Mighty Oak, Tommy Reagan. Let me try that again. Tommy Reagan will be on the show. Then Thursday, I've got an amazing entrepreneur, Terrence Thames, coming on, followed by one of my favorite guests that we've had on this show. Josh Gallagher will come on and perform a nice little set promoting his live concert going on next week, 2 weeks from now, something like that. It's like this is the 12th. And then Friday, a beautiful actress who is starring in a new movie with Shia LaBeouf. So, I mean, it's just action-packed, non-stop craziness. But tonight, it's a little bit of a different night. As I have a guest on that I normally don't have on. Normally it's entertainers, it's actors, it's, musicians, directors, PR people. That's what I usually have on this show. Tonight, not so much. Tonight, I have an author and an entrepreneur that is not in the entertainment business in any which way, shape, or form. She is strictly just a businesswoman. And the reason why I had her on is because during these trying times of trying to figure out where we're going to go next, holy crap, I just lost my job. What do I do? All this stuff that we've got going on, I thought it was very, very fitting to have her on the show. Yeah. Now, this was recorded last night, but I'm still going to broadcast it live. I'm still going to be here. I am live right now. It is 8:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so I'm still here. But the episode was recorded last night, and I had a special guest host with me in Kat. Everyone knows Kat. Everyone loves Kat. But she helped me interview this lady. It's an amazing, amazing interview, and I cannot wait to bring it to you. So without further ado, I do the intro of her too, but her name is Parul Agrawal. She's an entrepreneur. She is a best-selling author. She's an inspiration to women and men and minorities everywhere. She is just a fantastic person, period. And I had such a joy talking to her, even though she wasn't my typical guest. So I'm glad to bring her to you now. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and pull it up and get right to this here. All right. So, Kat has joined me for this lovely, lovely interview.
I'm excited for
I
it.
am excited to have you on. I had you, we did our mental health hour earlier
Mhm.
today.
Mhm.
And now we're doing this awesome interview together. I'm so glad that you decided to join me for this interview.
Yeah.
Um,
Thanks for having me.
hey, you know what? It's my pleasure because, like I said, the person that we have on today is quite the person. So she is a best-selling author,
Mhm.
originally from India, moved here and got master's degrees. I mean, she is an amazing, amazing woman, and I cannot wait to talk to her. So please, without further ado, please welcome to the show this evening, Miss Parul Agrawal. How are you today?
I am doing wonderful, Derek. Hello, Kat, and thank you so much for the lovely introduction.
Oh, it's my pleasure. My pleasure. It's definitely a pleasure to have you on the show. So,
It's truly my honor.
yes.
Oh.
So I've done a lot of research on you. I can't talk today. In the last
Researching.
24 hours. Yeah, in the last 24 hours. I watched your little mini TED talk. I read some excerpts about your books and all this other stuff. So let's just kind of start from the beginning because you have an interesting story to tell. So you grew up in a little town in India, and talk about that and what made you come here.
Oh, come to the US.
Yep.
Nothing was truly planned. In India, we have arranged marriages. So I was done with my undergrad degree in engineering. I was working, and my parents thought it was time for me to tie the knot. In other words, get settled.
Mm,
And they found the perfect husband for me, and we got married, and I came here.
Okay.
awesome.
So you're still in that arranged marriage.
Oh, yes, yes. Yeah.
So I've always been curious about that because my family comes from Middle Eastern background, and in some of those cases still have those cultures over there as well. So how did that we're gonna it's all ties in together. So how did that work for you, and how is that going for you today? I mean, how did you feel about that, and how did you guys grow to be together as one?
Oh, that's a great question. Yeah, because right from the moment I met my husband to the day we actually got married, we practically got married in 7 days. So now
Oh.
that's not really common, but because my husband was already working here, and you know, companies in US do not give that long of a vacation. So
Yeah.
so it was decided, rather than waiting quoting for 6 months or 8 months when he gets another break and comes back to India, it was better to tie the knot as soon as possible. So of course it was a decision that was taken in a rush, haste, so to speak. But
Mm.
it's been 16 years. We'll be celebrating our 16 year, yeah, I think 16 or 17, I think 16 for sure.
Somewhere in there.
So
Yeah.
somewhere in there, yeah.
Yeah.
So people say if you're together for 6 years, and stay together for more than 6 years, you're together for life. So I'm
Mm,
assuming that we are here to stay. And the very good question, like, how did you grow together? So I come from a very traditional educational kind of a background, right? So the path
right.
is kind of decided. You go to college, you do certain things, then you work in the corporate sector. But here, because of my husband, he works in the corporate, but he gave me the space to follow the entrepreneurial journey.
Mm,
I never had that pressure that, yes, I had to earn $100,000 paycheck, having two master's degrees, and taking a detour completely. Because you know no matter how good we are, the reality is it takes time to build a business, right?
right.
So it doesn't grow overnight. And speaking of growth, I grew up as a person, as obviously now we have two children, so as a mom, and most importantly, as a businesswoman, by being in that relationship with him.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you have two degrees in engineering essentially, or along that path. What made you decide that you wanted to? You did become a stay-at-home mom though, right? At some point.
I was essentially, I wouldn't say stay at home mom. So I was working in the
entrepreneurial mom?
corporate sector. I was working in the corporate sector, and um, at that time, I was working, and I was also finishing my master's degree in engineering, like my second master's degree. I had actually initially enrolled for the PhD program, but it
Mhm.
so turned out that the PhD group that I was working under, they decided to move to University of Tucson in Arizona.
Oh.
University of Arizona in Tucson, actually. And
Mhm.
I couldn't move. I thought that was not a good idea because my husband was here. So rather than like dropping out after 2 years of PhD, I decided to kind of drop down to a second master's degree in
Oh, okay.
material science engineering. And
Mhm.
while I was working in the corporate, finishing my master's degree, I would actually, get my energy from sugar laden coffee and donuts.
Yeah.
I was, living the American dream or whatever you call it.
Right.
And before I knew, I was really overweight, and I had so many like health issues. And not only that, when I would go to the corporate office, I would look at these women. I was probably in my late 20s, and I would think, I don't want to be like that 10 years from now. I don't
Mhm.
want that burden on my head.
Right.
And that is what made me decide to try different path. And also because my father comes from an entrepreneurial background. He has his business back in India, a very successful one. And that 9 to 5 kind of a job was never exciting enough for me.
Right.
Essentially. So
Yeah.
that's why so then, because of my health issues, I thought, let's study more about health, what health
Mhm.
is all about, nutrition. Because I had the student mindset. Of course, I could join a personal trainer and a gym, but I'm like, if that personal trainer can train people, why can't I? So I ended up becoming a personal trainer. I ended up becoming a holistic health coach. And in the process, I realized that was truly my passion, to
Mm.
help others. And I thought, with my engineering degree, I don't have the potential to change lives,
Mhm.
be a frontline worker, so to speak. But
Right.
with my nutrition background, I can actually make a difference in somebody's life. So, and simultaneously, I got pregnant. And so I took a little break from the corporate, but
Yeah.
I started offering these personal coaching one-on-one kind of sessions to people, and
Right.
started offering summer camps for children,
Mm.
healthy living summer camps for kids.
Oh,
So
okay, cool.
in the sense, I was on a break, but working for myself and learning the tricks and tips of business.
Right. No, of course.
Yes.
Yeah. That's cool.
So,
Thank
in that time, now now you're kind of turned into a motivational speaker type, and you've also written a few books. So, what kind of made you turn from from that area of helping people to what you're doing now?
So yeah, so primarily what I do now is help people publish their books, and with their publicity, and motivational speaking is sort of a way to build my business.
Mhm.
And also because probably, I kind of, with the work I do, inspire other moms like me, especially from the South Asian community.
Mm.
And that's why the motivational speaking thing just happened on its own. But what happened was, really, after my son was born, I started juicing to lose the baby weight. I wanted to do it the right way, so I started juicing, and I started blogging about my juicing journey. And the blog all of a sudden became popular, and people from all I live in Arizona, and recreation centers from Arizona started calling me because they wanted me to offer these juicing workshops to the patrons of the community. So I
Mm.
jumped on it because I had the nutritional background. Juicing was something I was truly passionate about.
Right.
And obviously, I loved helping families. And so I jumped onto this, but then people would be like, hey, the workshop is only 2 hours. We need some more details, some more recipes, some more tips. So I thought, okay,
Mm.
I should write a small handout that I could give to the people who come to my workshop after they are done. A small handout on extra tips, some recipes and stuff. And once I started writing, I kept writing straight for 4 weeks, and it became a book instead of
A
small handout.
handout. Yeah.
And at that point, I had no idea how to publish a book or how to market it. And I
Mm,
told myself I didn't really write this book for four of my friends and family members. So I started learning the process of publishing and marketing, not only your business, but specifically speaking books.
right.
And because, I had this engineering background, understanding the algorithm, understanding how the AI behind a system works was pretty easy for me. So I
Right.
kind of, cracked, for a lack of better word, the Amazon algorithm, the publishing algorithm, and my book landed into an international best-selling book on Amazon, and not only in US but also in various other countries. And
Mm,
that was something really unexpected, because there is this woman, coming from nowhere, and with a child in her hand, just wrote this book for fun, and now it's all across, the Facebook, all across Amazon. So people started, reaching out to me, asking me for my advice on how I did it and what I did.
right.
And initially I would just tell them, hey, this is what I do. If you follow the process, this might work for you. And it so turned out that everybody who followed the steps landed on the bestseller list, and had and gained huge success with their books.
Right.
So eventually that became a major part of my business. So
Mm,
I still have these detox programs and stuff,
hmm.
but a major part is helping authors, with their branding, businesses and entrepreneurs and CEOs with their branding, helping them share their message in the form of a published work, and
Right.
helping them also get on speaking stages and
Engagements.
yeah, engagements.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, you this was your first book and you were ever able to put out, and you put this out and you were able to make it to the top. What was the secret to that success on that?
um for the first book, I think, honestly speaking, hard work, a lot of hard work, and a lot of networking. And I
Mm,
wouldn't say, when I talk about networking, it's not like, I went out and met people, because I had limitations. I had a small baby, I had to take care of the baby, right? So
mhm.
it's not like I was going to places and networking meetings. But of course, social media, this was around the first book I released was 2015-16. Social media was still, uh, maybe not as popular, but popular.
Oh
So
yeah.
at that point of time, I remember clearly that I had around 800 or 900 people on my Facebook. And I sat down and messaged each and one privately, requesting them to get a copy of my book and talking about my book. So it took
Mhm.
me like long time, long hours, obviously, but I reached out to everybody individually, and I requesting them to help me promote this book, help me share about the book with their maybe email list or social media, because this was my first book, and I was also testing the waters,
Right.
and I had no idea if it would be successful or not. So I also didn't want to spend a whole lot of money on marketing, and eventually I did, but initially I had no idea, because that was something
Right.
that I did for my passion, really, not
Yeah.
from the motive of writing a book. But in that process also, when I followed the steps and I actually reached out to personally and built on that relationship with
Hmm.
even those 800, 900 people I had on my Facebook, that really helped me grow. And
Yeah.
Facebook was one platform, but other platforms also. But um, not just posting a random message, but actually reaching out to them and having that interaction
The
on a one-on-one
conversation.
level. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think about, people who message me right now and they're totally not being like genuine and they're, copy and pasting basically things. And I'm
Yes.
like, that's so frustrating.
With the bots and everything, it has become really difficult, and we miss that
Exactly.
relationship essentially.
Right? Yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
Hmm.
Yeah, and you mentioned that you kind of beat the algorithm on that or cracked the algorithm rather. Can you share with us like how you did that or what you did or how you figured it out?
So yeah, so basically, things keep changing. With the AI industry, things
They
change
do.
every day.
Yeah.
But during that time, it was, and still now, the way Amazon works, especially for these launches, is they look at three things. One is obviously the number of sales or downloads you're having on your book.
Right.
Secondly, the number of page clicks that you're having on your Amazon page.
Oh, okay.
And thirdly, the number of reviews that you might have on your book.
Right.
So reviews is not something that obviously you get with a new release or a new book, but
Mhm.
page clicks and buys or downloads are practically really the way to go about, essentially. So
Mm.
what do we mean by page clicks is, even if you nobody's buying, let's say, your book, but a lot of people from your network are going and clicking on your Amazon page. Amazon thinks that your book is doing really well, and
Mhm.
that improves your search engine, essentially search engine optimization or
Right.
search ranking on Amazon algorithm. Yes.
Oh, I
Yeah.
got you. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. Well,
And
thank
then
you.
also, how we set the book correctly in the right category, that's also important.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I think that works the same kind of for podcasts too. You have to set it in the right category
Exactly.
for
I
it to make
don't think
sense.
it's any secret, or it's not something that I had cracked it for the first time. It's just
Mhm.
that I cracked it for myself and it worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. And you can help others to do the same now. So,
Yes.
yeah, that makes sense.
True.
So, what was it like being a mom and doing all this? Because I know I'm a mom and I, run my own podcast and I help Derek sometimes and I help other people sometimes. So, it's busy and can be, tiring and exhausting and thrilling all at the same time.
Yeah, I
So, what
think
was
you
that like
used
for
the
you?
right adjectives, Kat, there. So while I was writing my book, I think my son was around 3.5 at that time, uh,
Hmm.
practically staying home. And I would spend the day with him, and I would sit down to write at night after he went to bed.
Ugh.
So around, I would start writing at 10 p.m., would do it till 5, and then get few hours of sleep. In fact, I remember one day I found out that a publisher from a very big publishing company was visiting Phoenix for a workshop. So I
Mm,
thought it would be great if I could actually pitch my book to him. At least, I knew it was very difficult to get a traditional publishing deal, but any
right.
insight if I could get from this publisher would be great.
Of
So I
course.
sat down on Friday night, and the conference was on Sunday at around 11, and I nonstop wrote from Friday evening to all Saturday night, and Sunday morning. I don't know. I probably fell asleep on my desk or something,
Right.
and then woke up and then got ready and just went to the publisher. And he actually really liked the book, and I pitched it in front of like 100 people who were there in the workshop. Nobody was as prepared as I was. So I received a lot of
Wow.
applaud, and that was actually the initial point which gave me the confidence that yes, I can actually make this book into something well known.
Yeah.
But at the same time, of course, I don't recommend people doing that. That's crazy. But
I do. That's awesome. That's an
yeah,
awesome story.
yeah. But I always tell people, if you're so passionate about something, then somehow sleep disappears.
Yeah.
You really need to
That's true.
really need to live it and breathe it, because
Right.
then nothing can come in your way, truly.
Mm,
But coming back to your question, of course, it's I think we need and you would agree to this, Kat, it's a lot of time management and the discipline,
yeah.
not only from kids point of view, but from your point of view as an entrepreneur. So I know when I'm working, I'm only working, I'm not thinking about doing the laundry, or somebody, if my friends call me, I'm not worried about chatting with them or
Mhm.
anything, going
Mhm.
back on Facebook, because even if I have 2 hours, I know I can achieve a lot in those 2 hours if I sit down and focus.
Right. Yeah, same. One of the things that I deal with a lot though is mom guilt. Do you experience that?
Sometimes, but I have decided that when I'm with my kids, I give them my 100%.
Mhm.
And, eventually, I think that I have a son and I have a daughter. She's 3, and my son is almost 10 now. And
Oh,
I feel that they also, because the world is changing so fast, whether from a boy's perspective or a girl's perspective, they need to understand and respect those limitations
boundaries.
that we
Mhm.
have, even as
Yeah.
parents. And I would
Yeah.
think that they would respect, uh, maybe not now, but eventually they would respect this more.
Yeah. No, yeah. I completely understand. I also have a son and a daughter, and they're about 6.5 years apart. And yeah, I went to
Same here.
school for 4 years with my daughter, and well, actually 3 with my daughter, and she was, younger when that happened. But my son was, at that point, like, I want to play with you and I want to do stuff with you. And now it's my daughter because my son is 13 or 14, 13 now. He'll be 14 this year.
Okay.
And so yeah, he doesn't want anything to do with me anymore. But yeah, I do the same thing. I basically like schedule time or blocks of time for
Right.
everybody so that I don't be distracted, basically, because if I'm distracted, I don't feel like anybody
Yes.
really gets anything out of me.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. And I also sometimes I feel that probably some of my friends think that I'm becoming antisocial and I really do not have social life. So
Right.
just sit down, keep working all the time. But,
Yeah.
somewhere, somehow you have to balance, right? The
Yeah.
business and family obviously take priority.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And I think I have like entrepreneur friends though that completely
Yes.
100% are okay with that and understand that. And so I have taught myself to surround myself with them because they're like, just text me whatever you can. And I'm like, thank you. You're
True,
my
true.
people.
Absolutely true.
Yeah, but then you'll also text me or call me halfway through the day and be like, "Hey, are you working? Yeah, stop. You need to take a break."
Well, that's because you go overboard and you don't find balance in your life. I bring balance to
No,
your life, dear.
I don't. And the reason why I'm that way is because I'll work 16, 17 hours a day
Yeah.
doing what I do, whether it's talking to PR, creating graphics, editing videos, editing this, editing that, doing, everything that I do, emailing potential clients and all this other stuff. It is consuming.
Hmm.
And, it definitely weighs on my mental health some days because
No.
I am bipolar. I am, you know, extremely having bad anxiety and there's all this other stuff that everyone knows about. Well, except for you, Parul, because you're just now meeting me. But my entire audience knows, and my, all my social media followers know that, that's my thing. I have that issue.
Mhm.
And sometimes the only way I can deal with it is by diving headfirst into work and
Right.
forgetting about all of my mental issues.
Yeah. So
Because
good.
I think a lot of my self-worth is dependent upon what this does. So if I don't break, today when this episode goes out on my podcast, if I
Mhm.
don't hit 20,000 listens, I'm upset with myself.
Mhm.
If I don't hit 3,000 watches on my Facebook page with this as well, so
Mhm.
for a total of 23,000, I'm upset with myself.
Mhm.
If I don't hit that 100,000 mark by the end of the week, I'm upset with myself and my depression hits me hard over the weekend. But at the same time, it's one of those, like I said, my self-worth is dependent upon what I can grow and what I can do here
Mhm.
inside of these four walls.
Yeah.
And that's sometimes that's hard.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that we all kind of have self-worth wrapped up in our work, period.
True.
But how do you overcome that?
How
Talking
do
to
I?
me
Yeah.
or her?
No, rule. I know how you
Okay.
you just said.
I
Yeah.
cry about it.
I don't let the outside world affect me so much, honestly speaking.
Hmm.
um, because I look at where I was maybe 3 years back or even a year back and where I have landed. Honestly speaking, of course I have very good team, I have very good friends and very good entrepreneur coaches and stuff that I work with.
Right.
But practically speaking, starting from scratch and building brick by brick on my own, and I know
Hmm.
like if I have come so far, then I can obviously go further.
Right.
And also I meditate a lot, and I fast a lot. So meditation and fasting is a big part of my life, and I
Hmm.
think all this kind of aligns together, because if I meditate and I fast, then I have more clarity in my brain.
Hmm.
And um, I don't get bogged down by things not working in the right direction, because eventually I know that things would work at the end of the day. And if they are not working the way I want them to, then
Hmm.
there is a bigger reason behind it.
Right. Mm.
So for example, if I'm working with a client and I send them the proposal, and for some reason the deal falls apart, or they do not become my client or whatever,
Right.
um, I, rather than beating myself, okay, this client was probably not meant to be a part of my network and my services. And it so turns out that this person fell off, and somebody else who was totally in line with my mission in life came
Hmm.
all of a sudden from the out of the blues,
No.
essentially.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. So having
Yeah.
that faith really helps me.
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah. I feel you. Self-worth is still something I struggle with. I mean, sometimes too. So it happens.
I think we all do.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we all do. We
Yeah.
we just have to stay calm and take one step at a time.
Right. For sure.
So when you do your motivational speaking, obviously this does come up a lot. I'm sure this is a very common topic. When you're speaking to others about this, what is some of your advice that you can give to them?
About essentially
Self,
what?
yes, self-worth, and maintaining the path even though you're not seeing the growth right away, maintaining what you built and finding ways to improve it, and maintaining your own mental health at the same time, because I'm sure that's, like I said, that's something that comes up a lot, especially when you're talking to other entrepreneurs who are thinking they're failing even though they're not, and so on and so forth. So how do you direct them? What is the words of advice that you give people like that?
It might sound funny, and it's probably not an entrepreneurial advice that most people want to hear, but I always tell people that first and foremost, clear your gut, because and that comes from my holistic health background, right? Because
Hmm.
if you have all this gunk in your gut, then it's
Hmm.
giving you wrong signals in the brain, because everything right now is we keep hearing it's the gut brain connection, the gut brain health. Your brain is only as strong as your gut is.
Hmm.
So uh, rather than I telling them what to do and how to do it, it's that inner calling or inner voice that they need to listen to, and they can only listen to it when they actually have a clear system inside out. So
Right.
start with yourself, start with cleansing your body, and then don't worry about anything else. And then when it comes to inspiration and motivation, i um I again go back and take I use a lot of scriptures and a lot of like motivational things that I have personally used in my life, like
Right.
certain books or certain talks or certain meditations that help me stay positive in all situations. Like even during this pandemic, I keep getting calls from a lot of entrepreneurs saying that hey, we are scared that we are losing the business, or we are scared about something is not working, and I try to show them the positive in the whole scenario, in this whole
Right.
situation.
Yeah.
So even if we can find one silver lining in the entire situation, I believe that's more than enough to lead us for the rest of the week. And then we probably need another dose of motivation for the next week. And then cleansing and then meditation, because even if you meditate for 10 minutes in your life, in your day,
Mhm.
it actually has effects for the next 24 hours.
Mm.
So it might only look like we're just meditating for 10 minutes, but it's really beneficial for the entire day. And then it doesn't let you bogged down or feel depressed or demotivated.
Mhm.
You always look at it from, again, if I have come so far in my life, then I
Mhm.
can definitely sail through this period also. And
Right.
life is always full of ups and downs, right? It's not that we are always down or we are always up.
Right.
It's balances itself. So basically telling my clients about a period where they were really low and how they overcame that period really helps.
Right.
Yeah, one thing that I'm doing is that I'm looking at this, you know, from a standpoint of it being it's a big reset. You know,
Right.
we're can't go out as much anymore. Lots of businesses are closing. Lots of people are trying to come up with their own, own paths because they're losing their jobs and they're not able to find other jobs because other businesses are losing revenue as
Sure.
well. So they're being more entrepreneurial and so on and so forth. So
Mhm.
I think right now even though it's, for lack of a better word, and I apologize for this, it's a shitty time in America across the world. I mean, it really
Across
is.
the world.
Um, but at the same time, it's never been a better time to be alive because now is the time for us to really prove as human beings who we are
Mhm.
and that we can persevere even in the most troubling of times. And, I've taken this, for example, this show, and I started it right before the pandemic, and I've done nothing but bust my tail on it for the last 6 months, and I'm continuing to do so. Other people are doing the exact same thing. Oh, well, I'm going to go ahead and start this brand online, or I'm going to go ahead and try this. I'm going to open up this business. And I think we are now in a period of time that has never been a better time for this type of growth. Yes, a lot of people are losing their businesses too.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of
Right.
restaurants, a lot of small time mom and pop places that are losing their businesses. But at
Mhm.
the same time, a lot of those people are also taking what they learned from this experience and putting it into something else and hopefully going to create something even better. So yes, they're
Exactly.
losing it now, but what's going to happen in a year with their brand new adventure? And I think that's actually the way to really look at it.
Yeah. I think it's a time of adjustment.
Definitely. And they're coming out with innovative ideas to actually grow their businesses, which they never probably thought of because they were so comfortable in what was the known, right? And now
Right.
something unknown happened and they're thinking out of the box, which will probably really help them after this transitionary period is over.
Mhm.
Mm.
Correct, which is what I was kind of now going towards because you've also released another book about growth hacking.
Right.
Explain, because I've talked to other people about this as well, or one other person, I should say. But explain to the audience what growth hacking is.
So, growth hacking essentially, that's a very good question. And in the simplest terms, I call growth hacking as the hack, probably. It could be anything. I'm talking about three things here: skill set, tool set, or mindset. So,
Mhm.
any of the one sets that you use to build your life or your business. So it could be any hack. For example, somebody used LinkedIn for that matter to grow their business or gain a better job. So and maybe one technique from LinkedIn, not the entire LinkedIn, but just one technique from LinkedIn, reaching out to potential HR people. So
Mhm.
that is the hack that worked for him really well. And that would be his growth hack. Now, growth hacking, when we are talking about growth hacking, we are actually encompassing lots of various things. It's not that we are just using one of the tools or tips, but out of these 100 things, that one thing that you can pinpoint on that worked for you would be considered your growth hack. So this was a term coined by Sean Ellis about a decade ago, and it has become really popular because now a lot of people are actually into this digital kind of a business where they are using these strategies to not only grow online but also offline. And the reason we call it the tool set, mindset, and skill set, which is the terminology that we came up for the growth hacking book, is because we just cannot focus on, hey, I'm using Instagram to build my business. It, yes, that was one of the tools that you used,
Right.
but at the same time, having the right mindset is also extremely important. So that's why we kind of encompass all these three things into a wider umbrella term called as growth hacking.
Mm, I gotcha. Okay.
So, what made you write a book about it?
What happened in 2016, I had moved back to India for 1 year, almost end of 2016. So 2017, we were in India. I moved back because my husband's company, they shipped us to India for a project that he was working on.
Hmm.
And at that time, most of the people that I was related to or connected to with the digital marketers or the people who were doing really good in India was online. I had never met them in person. I usually go every year for my break, but that's a small break. I go back and I stay with my family. I really don't get an opportunity to network with people. But here I was for 1 year and I got to meet all these young, talented entrepreneurs. I mean, young, by young, I mean really 19-year-old, 20-year-old kids, who were doing amazing, amazing work. And then I was totally bold because here I was like almost in my late 30s. And I'm like, wow, that kind of was I knew like a lot of young entrepreneurs were doing amazing things in the United States, but I
Mhm.
had no idea because when I left India in 2004,
Mhm.
we still had that mindset that you have to go to college, you have to earn your degree, and you have to go into a job. But when I went back, I met these people. I'm like, wow, you are actually changing the definition of traditional, mindset in India. So that, and I came in touch with all these growth hacking people. I had no idea what growth hacking was, but I met this young guy who is considered India's most followed growth hacker, young person with huge following on Twitter. And I asked him how you did what you did, and he started narrating me, this is what he works on communities, he builds communities. I'm like, and how old are you? And he's like, 20. And I'm like, okay. So
Yeah.
so I'm like, are you sure? And then there was this other guy, he was 17. And I'm like, how old are you? And
Mhm.
how much do you earn? And he's like, I earn 100,000 rupees per month. And I'm like, oh, are you legally allowed to earn that much? He's like, no, I'm not. That's why I'm waiting to turn 18, because till that time all my money goes to my sister's account, and then as soon as I turn 18 it comes to my account. I'm like, wow, I mean, this was really something that I had never heard of course,
Right.
growing up, 17, 18, 19-year-old kids earning so much and doing so well,
Yeah.
and level headed. It's not that they were not level headed, at the same time very mature. So
Yeah.
then I came in communication, in touch with all these people. We were, following each other on social media, supporting each other. And then I proposed this out there, like, hey, I know how to publish books. I was publishing actually a mom's book. I published a book which is a collaborative book with more than 100 moms from all across the world.
Mhm.
And this
Saw
book
that one.
was yeah, really, it really gained a lot of support from the community. I also had contacted so many people like Sheryl Sandberg, Michelle Obama, Ariana Huffington for the foreword. Of course, none of them wrote the foreword because of one obligation or another, but all of them replied back, supporting the movement, supporting the book. So, which was
Awesome.
again a very big motivation for me.
Mm,
So I told these people, like, hey, you guys are doing such amazing thing. Why don't you share it in a chapter in a book? I have the publishing knowledge, so let's collaborate.
yeah.
And that's how the first growth hacking book one came into um, Fruitian, because I just put it out there, and then these people wanted to share, because writing a book, obviously everybody wants to write a book, but it's a whole lot of a process. But if you're doing collaborative books, all you have to do is submit a chapter worth 1,000 words long.
Hmm.
So I did that growth hacking book number one, and I thought, um, offline launches, like a launch, in person launches, are very popular in India, or at least they were prior to COVID.
Right.
And I thought, okay, so I arranged this big launch every year. Anyway, I go to India during the summertime, so
Hmm.
I arranged this big launch in India, in Delhi, which is the capital of the country.
Hmm.
And this was I organized this in a nice a hotel or a resort, you can call it. But
Yeah.
this resort is exclusive for diplomats
Oh,
somehow. So, a lot of diplomats, a lot of ambassadors from different countries, whenever they visit India, they like have their meetings and events in that resort. So I
right.
arranged it there just because, it was very centrally located, and I
Hmm.
thought it will be easy for people to commute.
Hmm.
And it so turned out, because we chose this location for the event, a lot of people from government of India just kept dropping to the launch. They
Right.
heard about this growth hacking, and hacking is a word which usually is considered negative. So everybody became curious, why are they doing such a big launch for such a negative thing?
Right.
And they kept dropping into the launch event, which was like a conference, and all these, you know diplomats, all these people from the government, people from who are actually the decision makers of science and technology units in government of India, they
Yeah.
just kept dropping to our event, and then it became a huge success.
Mm.
And so that's how actually I got involved into this growth hacking movement. And this was last year on July 13, 2019. And we that book is still a huge success. And this year we are launching the growth hacking book number two. And I never planned of doing this book, but I just posted it out there on social media. And before I knew, I had 50 people who wanted to write a chapter in the book. So essentially, it's like, if you put it out there, the universe gives you back again. So I kind of manifested it. uh, so I just went with the flow, and it happened.
Yeah, that's super awesome. Sorry, my daughter came in and I was
No
trying to like
problem.
get out.
Shoo.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, my daughter was crying. I hope you didn't hear her.
oh no, I heard it. I just ignored it.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
um,
that's okay.
so one of the and I say this delicately. So one of the advantages, or one of the plus sides to the things that you do, is the fact that you are an immigrant, you are a minority, and you're also a female. Um,
That's
so
not usually considered a plus side.
well, no, no, no. Hold on. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you
Okay.
why. One
Mhm.
of the reasons why I say that is because the more successful that you become, the
Mhm.
more of an inspiration that you are,
Yeah.
because of the
True.
challenges that you have. If
True.
I become successful just because I bust my tail for a year, I'm just another dude that did it. But even Kat, who's a stay at home mom doing that, has it'll be more of a success on her part. But for you, it's more of an inspiration because of the background you have and the things that you've come from. So when you take a look at it like that, who is your client base? Is it minorities? Is it women? Or is you don't really care because you just want to help everybody?
That's a very good question, Derek. So initially, I thought my client base was women because I resonated with women more being a mom. But it so turned out that more and more I think about it is entrepreneurs And probably by now you might have guessed I'm a little bit of a woo woo kind of an entrepreneur. So so
You
actually,
do.
these so these woo woo kind of entrepreneurs who really have a message, but also I would call them enlightened entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
They are kind of my ideal clients.
Mm.
And again, I never reached out to them. I don't promote myself as a woo woo, enlightened,
Right.
spiritual entrepreneur because, again, as you mentioned, being an immigrant, being a minority, being a female, there are already enough challenges in the world of
Yeah,
business.
100%.
Now I promote myself as, hey, this entrepreneur who talks about, you know, manifesting
Spiritual.
stuff. It will be another challenge, right?
Yeah.
So that's not what I promote myself as. I promote myself as this lady with technical brains who can actually, crack the code of everything, algorithm of all things. But at the end of, my soul level, I know those are the kind of people I really want to work with, because not only they have a message which is really for the world, but they also have a message that needs to be shared, especially during these times.
Yeah.
And
For sure.
so I've helped a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of CEOs who are sort of starting a new career. They might have retired with lots of money from their being a CEO or being the board of director of a company, and now they're
Mhm.
starting like second innings of their life. And a lot of people who are uh, spiritual entrepreneurs, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
But not, I mean, when people think of spiritual entrepreneurs, they think of entrepreneurs who do not really have money to afford for their services. But these are spiritual entrepreneurs who are doing extremely well in both material world and the spiritual world as well. Hmm.
Right.
So those kind of people are really my, so I would say entrepreneurs and CEOs. Oh, I love your crown.
Your
Uh,
headphones.
yeah, my daughter, she keeps wearing the crown all the time. She's into
Yeah.
this princess mode right now.
Yeah. My daughter was for a while. Now she's, look at you.
Hi.
No, stop it.
So yeah, so speaking of inspirations, I was going to ask you
Now,
who
by the
who
way,
have been an inspiration to you.
I usually take inspiration from people I meet on a daily basis. Some of the people who have really inspired me is one of my business partners who is a single mom and who is a cancer survivor. And she never gives up on anything. And she has like all these amazing business ideas. And honestly speaking, I get inspired by everybody. I mean, right now I'm being inspired by you because you're doing this podcast, and you have a daughter and you are doing it on a day where you need
Mm.
to be with your children. So with Derek, I think, I just, if we look at people as these beings of God, then we can find inspiration in everybody, really. When I was in India, I lived there in India for 1 month, and for 1 year, 1.5 year actually.
Mhm.
And I had to, normally when I go, it's my family, like I either live with my parents or my in-laws, and they take care of everything. But now I was living by myself with my family, so I had to take care of the house. And we have a lot of house helps in India, so I had a driver, I had maids, and I had, like, house helps. I even had a lady to do my juicing. And I would be inspired from them because I would look at this lady who has probably 3 or 4 kids, who is working morning till evening, but she also is has this dreams for her daughter. And she would wake up early in the morning at 5 a.m. just to drop her daughter to the school,
Yeah.
so that the daughter receives good education. So
Mhm.
honestly speaking, I receive inspiration from everybody I meet on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Good answer.
Thank you.
So, what are some of your plans that you have coming up? I know you said you had a new book that you're working on, but what are some of the other plans you've got coming up in the next few months?
So new book, definitely, and definitely I have a lot of clients who keep coming out with books, but I'm really working on this new earth media, if you could call it, like um, to impart authentic leadership on the planet. It's called Business Venus. It's a work in progress. And here, what I plan to do, I'm doing it with a few other partners and investors. And this will be sort of a bigger platform than what I have or currently. And my whole goal, my whole mission behind this platform is to bring out those messages hidden somewhere, uh, life changing messages from entrepreneurs who are really doing, some revolutionary work in both the tech world as well as, the non tech world, to bring out their message and, help them be in the limelight.
Oh, that's super awesome.
Thank
That's gonna
you.
be cool. I'm excited for that. What did you say it was called again?
It's called Business Venus.
Venus, like the planet?
Venus, as in, yeah, like
Yeah.
the planet Venus. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yes.
That's gonna be
Yes.
awesome.
Well, let me just say that I definitely think that you are an inspiration, not just for women, but for everybody. Even though you've taken something that was very small and turned into something very big, and you've done a lot of good things for a lot of people, and you've definitely inspired a lot of people in your life, and that is definitely I commend you on that. Put it that way.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I hope nothing but the best for you, and I hope that you can continue to grow and continue to inspire thousands of people to do exactly what you do on a daily basis. Not necessarily the exact same thing, but what you do, and follow your dreams and pursue your own passion. Don't just sit there and say, I'm going to do what the corporate world tells me to do. No,
Right.
Right.
break down that door and do what you are meant to do, and
And it's
find
not
that.
easy, Derek, honestly, because when I left that job, the $100,000 job, I mean, luckily my immediate family had no issue, but like everybody else in the world is like, you must be insane, are
Right.
you a lunatic? Like, who leaves 100,000 paycheck and starts their business for $100 per month?
Right.
Earning 100. But I knew, like, when you have that clear vision and you know what you really want for yourself. And one thing I knew right from day one is I can never do good if I have a boss. So
Yeah.
better to be my own boss, no matter how long it takes. But I
Right.
cannot take instructions. Taking instructions from clients is okay, but not
Yeah.
from a boss.
Right.
So,
I 100% agree with you on that. About, was it 3 weeks ago now, Kat? 3.5 weeks ago. I actually lost my $100,000 job
Mhm.
because of my mouth, um, because of the
For your
show.
podcast.
So because of the show. I mean, now on other days when I'm talking to entertainers or we're talking to other
right.
people, obviously the show has a much different tone. Which is, usually there's, F-bombs being dropped and we're making horrible jokes and stuff like this, but this is a much different episode and I wanted to treat it as such. And that's why I only said one bad word the entire hour. So I'm proud of myself.
Yeah.
But no, like I said, because your story and this episode deserves that type of treatment. And I can know how to balance back and forth.
Right.
Because I'm just that type of host. But at the same time,
Like that.
the other type of stuff that I've done pissed off my corporate leaders, and they fired me for it. However, at that moment I was like, you know what, I'm not finding another job. I'm doing this. This is my life now. There's nothing else more important than this. Everybody in the world except for 3 people told me that I was crazy. And one of them's like right over there. Where is she at? They're right over there. And then my
I'd
wife
say
and
it's for the best, honestly.
my wife and my best friend. So, those 3 women in my life, are the reason why I'm doing this 16 hours a day, and I'm still getting yelled at for working too much, but at the same time, I'm doing what I want to do. So
Right.
sometimes it takes that leap of faith. Sometimes you got to walk up to the 30th story of that building and just jump and pray
Right.
for a parachute to come out of nowhere.
Mhm.
And if you do that, 9 times out of 10, that parachute might be there. It might be small, it might be large. You might still hurt yourself on the way down, but at the same time, you did it.
Yeah.
And you'll never know unless you actually take that leap.
That's right.
Right.
You know,
Right.
Kat took that leap back in January. I just took that leap 3 weeks ago, and you're
Yeah.
still
Wow.
you took that leap as well. You know, we've all made that leap, and you know, without doing that, we wouldn't be where we're at today.
Exactly. The principle I live with is, at least you should not have any regrets in life, right?
Right.
So, and until you try, you never know how
Yeah.
successful you could be. If
Hmm.
nothing works out, of course, corporate world is not going anywhere. We can always go back if needed. But what if it works out? And I always tell my son, he's 10 and he has this entrepreneurial streak in himself. And I'm like, with entrepreneurship, sky is the limit for you. You
Yeah.
can earn as much as you want. With corporate job, you can only stick to a limited amount of money, or you
Right.
have to slog absolutely all day long. So
Yeah.
yes, I mean, really,
Exhaust yourself.
we have to follow our heart
Yeah.
and take that
Ab-
leap of faith.
Absolutely. And I think that this whole hour has been about that, you know, trusting yourself, trusting your who you are, and taking that leap of faith to be the most successful person you can be.
Right,
Yep.
absolutely.
Well,
Absolutely.
again, Parul, I truly, truly, truly appreciate you taking the time out of your day to talk to us. And you know, you are an inspiration to myself, and I know to Kat as
Mhm.
well. So we'll,
Oh, thank you. Likewise.
I'll definitely continue to follow you. And when your new book comes out, you're more than welcome to come back on, and we'll promote it, and we'll do
Oh,
some more
thank
fun stuff like
you.
that. Not a problem.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Thank you. It's already out for pre-order. I'm trying to get this book into the USA Today bestseller list, and
Mhm.
there's a whole process. This is something I'm learning myself and doing it. So hopefully, it will be successful, and it will be a big dream come true for all the authors who are
What's it
associated
called?
with the book.
The new
The
one.
book is called The Growth Hacking Book Number Two.
Oh, number
So
two.
it's
Okay.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
it's two,
Is it
and
like,
there
is it for COVID? I'm just curious.
not
Is it like growth
necessarily,
hacking
it's
COVID?
no, it's all about any COVID, post COVID. It talks about there are 100 authors, I would think, that, and it talks about the 100 tools, strategies that you could use to grow your business in the new decade.
Ah, perfect. Okay,
Fantastic.
good.
Well, as soon as that comes out, you just let me know. You have my contact information, I believe. Just shoot me an email, and I'll be more than happy to bring you back on.
Oh,
Perfect.
thank you. That would be an honor. Thank you so
Not a
much.
problem. Well, again, Parul, I wish you nothing but the best. Take care of yourself, take care of your family, and continue to be that inspiration that I know you are.
Thank you. You too. Thank you. It was lovely speaking with you both.
You too.
You as
You have a
well.
wonderful day.
Thank you.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye
Thank
bye.
Bye-bye.
you. Namaste.
Namaste.
All right. So you got some time? You want to chat for a few minutes? Because I know
Sure.
we did the we know we did the mental health hour earlier.
Right.
Would you like to transfer and do some suck it stuff now?
Yes, please.
Because I'm sure that you've got some stuff on your mind that you need to get out. And I haven't said a bad word in an hour, so I need
So you need to get that off your
I
chest.
need to get that off my chest.
Go ahead with like a singular right now. Go ahead. Go ahead. Big
Fuck.
loud. Yeah.
Fuck. Okay. So
Okay.
all right. So there was something that was really bothering me on Friday, and I vented about it, and I want to bring it up to you, and I want to kind of get your opinion on it.
Sure.
And when you took a step back from this show,
Mhm.
and Nicole stepped in for a little bit, but then got too much for her as well.
Mhm.
I eventually had to start just doing this on my own. And one of the
Mhm.
things I promised I would never do would be get too political. Even with you, get too political. I tried to keep it light. I tried to keep it fun. I tried to keep it comedic, and I couldn't do it all the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes there was so much bullshit in there that I needed to let it out and be angry and be the
Right.
political dickhead that I am.
Sure.
So on Thursday or Thursday, one of the two.
Sure.
All right. So last week, Herman Cain passed away.
Mm.
Okay. He passed away of COVID-related issues.
Okay.
He had those COVID-related issues for about 6 weeks, if I remember reading the article correctly. He had gotten COVID, supposedly, air quotes, because nobody could prove where you got it from a Trump rally. Okay.
Do you know which Trump rally?
I
'Cause I
cannot.
know.
I can't remember, but I just know that the speculation is he got it
was
at a
the
Trump.
Juneteenth one in
Oh, was
Oklahoma.
it? Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right. So a little bit of
No,
karmatic.
let's get political. Okay.
All right. So yeah, you're right. It was Oklahoma. Okay. So anyway, got it there supposedly, but you can't prove 100% that he did. However,
it'd be funny if he did.
it would be.
That's
But
not funny. He's dead. I'm sorry. That's
no.
not funny.
It's but here's the point I'm trying to make.
That's
So whether he did or didn't,
true.
he was obviously anti-mask. He was obviously anti-social distancing, thinking that he knew better along with every other fucking Republican on the face of this earth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then he passed away. Most likely because he was at a Trump rally, not social distancing and not wearing a mask. But
Honestly,
then
it's a little bit poetic justice.
it is. But here's where the poetic justice ends and the anger begins.
Okay.
Thursday or Friday, Trump does a press conference honoring Herman Cain, talking about, what a great man he was and Godfather Pizza and blah, 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 blah. But then he goes and talks about how he passed away from the China virus. He literally fucking calls it that.
Are you serious?
I am dead serious.
Where'd you get that
I watched the fucking the press conference. He literally said Herman Cain passed away from the China virus. But here's the point that pisses me off. At this point, it has been proven that we are the absolute worst first world country with the response to this fucking virus. And that is caused by him and his fucking cronies. So at this point, is it really the China virus or is it the Trump virus? Because it's gotten so worse because he refuses to do anything about it. That motherfucker, I'm getting it all out of my system now, has the audacity to say this on live TV. And I don't fucking know why.
I'll tell you why.
Go ahead. Sorry. I'm done.
I can't. I want out of this country. I want to run away and go to Canada. Canada, please come save us. Please. This is a call for help. I'm dead serious. Save us from our country.
They're fucking laughing at us right now.
They're not even, no, they're not, because I have friends in Canada. They're not laughing at us anymore. They're like, oh, honey, oh, you poor thing. Like, how can you, even the people who are still, which by the way, okay, you want to talk about Virginia some more? Because this is going to be fun. So I went to Virginia this past weekend, okay? And
so did I.
Yeah, right?
I live here, so whatever.
Right. So I drove up to the Shenandoah National Park. I don't know how it's pronounced. Don't make fun of me.
Shenandoah.
Yeah. Okay, good. So I drove up there, and on my way up, there were vineyards and farms, right? And it was super cool and cute, and I was super excited. And then there was a bale of hay, like a lot of hay, that had Trump 2020 written on it. And I was like, what? Like, I thought that we had all agreed that this was a bad idea. Like, I know people who voted for Trump in 2016 and now feel bad because they're partially responsible for this crap. Okay. And I thought we had all agreed this was an experiment, and it failed miserably. It went up in smoke and flames.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem. So it's never happened in history, as far as I'm aware. I don't believe it is, to where an incumbent did not run. I mean, obviously there's been incumbents that did not run again, but there's never been an incumbent that lost that spot to another Republican or Democrat. So they have, since he is running again, the Republicans have no choice but to to support him. And there's still a lot of people that do support him for some unknown fucking reason.
I think it's just because they're a part. I'm gonna give them an out and say it's just because they're loyal to their party.
But also, what Trump does, and he does a really good job at this, and honestly, it's genius. It really is he appeals to the people like me. And let me tell you what I mean by that. The people that aren't afraid to say something that's on their mind. Now,
that's kind of a problem sometimes. I
correct.
Agree.
Oh, I get myself in trouble with that all the time. Obviously, what happened a few weeks ago. But
look at my background right now.
look at me. Yeah. This is my job now. So I feel that. And years and years and years ago, I was joking around with my wife when we still lived in Florida. I said, I'm going to run for mayor of our town, which was Winter Springs in Florida. I said, I'm going to run for mayor of Winter Springs. And she goes, Derek, you have no political background. You're just a wrestler and a retail guy. What is your campaign slogan? Just that. I literally know nothing about politics, but I'm smart enough to know to hire more people around me that do, which is exactly what Trump has done now.
No, he didn't, though.
But he didn't. But that was what he said. That was what he said.
That's not what he did.
No, it's not. He's a fucking liar. But that's not the point. The point is that he appealed to the people that have mouths like I do, and was like, and the people that are loyal to the Republican Party and also fucking idiots. See, I get my mouth in trouble. See, I might have to edit that out, but I'm not going to.
Trouble? No, you're not.
No,
you don't edit anything.
Derek calls Republicans idiots on Suck It Podcast. Yes, I did.
Sorry, guys.
Write another article about that one.
Sorry, not sorry.
But here's the thing. The Republicans also don't want to vote for Biden. So at this point, Biden needs to recognize that his supporters are supporting him for two reasons. Number one, because he's a Democrat and they want Trump out, not for him. He
cares. No one cares. Literally, no one cares.
I do, because I think what's going to get us is this. There's some Republicans and there's some Democrats that could go either way. Sure. Because some people just don't trust him, think he's a creepy old guy, whatever the case might be. There's issues with Biden and everyone knows it. This election is going to come down to who he chooses for a running mate.
Yeah. I don't even think. Okay, so here's the deal. So remember when it was Hillary and Trump? And those were our two options, right? And everybody was like, it was clearly divided. You were either 100% for Hillary or 100% for Trump. And everybody agreed they were both terrible options, but it was just pick your worst evil, okay? And it's been like that for a minute, and that it needs to stop. Why is that a thing? Why is that a thing? In the United States, we have a multiple party system. We have multiple parties. I don't understand how that's still a thing.
Because the Electoral College is broken. So here's what I mean by that. And I don't care what side of the fence you're on with that. The Electoral College is broken. And here's why. Say, for instance, I pander to only 5 states. Just 5.
Sure.
It is possible to win the entire election because I pandered to those 5 states.
Just like Trump did. Exactly
my point. Hillary didn't. Hillary tried to appeal to the masses.
Which
Trump
she did.
Okay. Trump tried to say, wait a minute, I'm going to go over here. I'm going to get Iowa. I'm going to go over here and get this state. I'm going to go over and get this state. And then if I do this, other states will follow in line because they have the same political views. And I just need to pander to these certain states and I can get the votes that are needed. And that's exactly what happened.
So, right. So here's my I don't know if this is my greatest fear yet, because like worse things could happen technically, but not
No,
that much.
this would be the worst thing that could ever happen.
Yeah. So what I'm afraid of, I still haven't yet decided whether Trump is either a complete idiot or he's very good at playing chess.
He is very good at playing chess.
And I think it might be both, possibly. But
No, that's where I
because-
differ. I think he's a genius. I really do.
I
But
can't
in the wrong way. He's an evil genius.
No, I don't even. I think that he's dumb because his downfall is going to be this right here. Like everybody is so completely just incredibly appalled at who he is that now finally, okay, that it's going to be his downfall. And I say that because what I'm afraid of, okay, is that he is going to he's going to either delay the election to some degree. My brother has said that he's afraid that we're going to have a Venezuela situation where he just basically refuses to give up power, and the person who actually wins is going to be like, well, too bad, I'm the people's president and this is how it's going to go. And he's just not. And I'm afraid of that. And I'm afraid that the reason that they sent border patrol, okay, into Portland is because he's just using whatever. He can't use the physical military. Okay, so he
Correct.
just sent in the ones that he actually has power over, which is it's border patrol and something OH or something like that. What's the
Homeland Security.
Yeah, thank you, Homeland Security. So he has control over those. So he just sent those soldiers in to do his bidding, basically, and now he's sent them into other places. And that right there, honestly, conspiracy theories aside, is one of my greatest fears, because that's how it starts.
Well, there's two things with that. Okay, so number one, whether he can or can't delay the election is irrelevant.
Well, but like the postal service has been delayed already, and you think he didn't have anything to do with that?
Again,
Do we really think that?
irrelevant. Let me say my point. Come January 21st, is that the date? I can never remember the exact date.
Sure.
Whatever date the normal, swearing in day is. Was it 21st, 24th, 20th, somewhere? It's one of those days. It's in there somewhere. I
Yeah.
can never remember. That date, he loses all power.
Hopefully.
No. That's the way the Constitution is written.
Yeah, but what happens if he just literally refuses to leave the White House?
That's where it kind of comes in. If that's what happens, then I don't know what the Supreme Court or Congress or anything else like that what would happen. There's obviously going to be some type of ramification. If that's the case,
Terrified.
well, that's the thing. We don't know what would happen. I don't know what would happen in that case. There's never been a case like that. But the thing about it is he's already said that he's not sure whether or not he's going to accept the results of the election.
I know. I'm genuinely.
If he loses this election and on whatever date that is, I can again never remember. Please Google that because it's going to bug the crap out of me
right now.
Thank you. If he moves out, if he doesn't move out and refuses to give up power, then we will be at the verge of a civil war.
Yeah.
And for the first time in however many years, 200 years ish, whatever it was, War of 1810, I think it was the last one, if I'm not mistaken.
It's the 20th or the 21st. Donald Trump assumed office on the 20th. I don't know why it deviated from the 21st. But
I think it matters if it's a Tuesday or a Monday or whatever. I can't remember the specifics of it. Like I said, I can never remember the exact date because it's never the same.
Oh, you were right. It's 21st.
Okay. So, I believe that there will be a uprising and there will be a civil war. And for the first time since, I believe 1810, was that the last war here fought in America? We will have another fucking war fought in this country. No, the Civil War was after the War of 1810. So it had been whatever the Civil War was the last
the
war.
Civil War was between 1861 and 1865.
Yeah, so 1865 was the last time we had a war fought in this country. We will have a war fought in this country again.
I think there's a possibility that we won't, though, because I'm afraid that we're all too afraid now at this point. Basically.
Oh, I'm throwing hands. I don't give a fuck.
Oh, I know you are. And there are some people who will 100%, but I don't know.
I don't own a gun and I'm going to get shot, but God damn it, someone's getting punched in the fucking nose.
Before I go down,
someone's getting punched hard.
Go try to be a ninja. Like, how are you gonna? They're far away. They can reach you with a gun.
I am a ninja.
Okay.
I'm probably one of the largest. I'm like, the second largest ninja ever, next to Chris Farley being a Beverly Hills ninja. But God damn it, I will ninja the fuck out of motherfuckers. I will. Hey, Black Widow did it and rarely ever used a gun. All I gotta do is knock one motherfucker out that has a gun, and I got a gun. That's all it takes.
She's tiny. She's tiny.
But I'm a badass.
Okay. Just go grab a truck from somewhere and run them over.
I will dress in BDUs. And I will wait in a tree and I will find someone that's shooting a gun and I will jump on them, break their neck, and take their gun, and I'd be good to go.
There you go. Yeah.
Very simple.
Right? Very simple. Very simple.
Yeah. I just need to find some BDUs.
I have some, but they wouldn't fit
no,
you.
your husbands would not fit me at all. Any which way, shape, or form.
I literally had the thought process. I was like, oh, you could use. Nope, you can't. Never
I
mind.
am twice the size of that man. I am a 250-pound beefy weightlifting martial arts wrestling motherfucker with I'm a big dude.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah,
with a big beard. Yeah.
Yes. I was, speaking of which, I've noticed that it's getting a little bit out of control.
Well, have you?
Yeah, but I don't really care. So my air conditioning broke in my house today. And I know, and it's been like 100 fucking degrees today, but I digress. So after we ate dinner, before I got on the show, I'm just sitting there shirtless in my boxers, laying on my couch watching Avengers Endgame for the 500th time.
Yeah.
And my beard kept tickling my chest, and I kept thinking that there was like a bug or something. So I kept going like this, and I'm like, oh wait, no, it's just my beard.
Oh, that's so funny. That's how you know there might be a little bit time to cut it a little bit.
I trimmed like a little bit off of it yesterday because there were some split ends, but I didn't trim it like astronomically.
Right.
But anyway, back to the point of this conversation. I don't know what would happen if he refused to leave office. What would happen? I don't know. But I do feel if that happens, there will be a civil war.
I'm just praying to whoever I pray to that he's gonna just go away. Just go away and crawl into a cave somewhere and disappear. And I never have to hear of him ever again.
Well, here's where and this is where I've always been curious.
Oh God.
No. This is a logical question. Maybe you can answer it. Maybe you can ask your husband. I don't know. Say, for instance, a civil war broke out.
Okay.
Where does the police stand in all that?
They can do nothing. So, okay, here's the deal. If a civil war...
Yeah, so if civil war broke out, it's us versus them or them versus us or however the case might be. And since we have the right to form a militia and to overthrow the government, which in this case would be that would be the case for that. If we attempted to do that, would the police start arresting people? Would that be considered rioting? I mean, where is that? Where does that come into public? Yes.
Here's what would happen.
So enlighten me.
I don't it legitimately, if we have a civil war, it's going to be whoever is on one side is against the person on the other side. It could be your neighbor. It could be your police officer, neighborhood friendly police officer. It could be the person at the grocery store. It could be anybody.
Correct.
But what's going to happen is the people who are willing to fight about it are going to have to go fight about it somewhere. I don't even know where. The problem is if there's a civil war that if bad people decide to hurt the people that are on the opposing side and want to hit them where it will hurt the most, which is going to wind up being their families, that's a possibility.
And then at the same time, where does the army and the do they defend? Who are they defending at this point? That see again. So
Generally,
we've never been in a situation like this,
right? Well, generally, the military will not engage on U.S. soil. That's not their job. Their whole job, all of the military,
the National Guard,
except
exactly.
Right. The National Guard, however, to my knowledge, is supposed to be there to help like citizens. Like they're there to do what's right and what's best for the majority of the citizens.
But if that Cheeto wearing motherfucker is the one calling the shots, are we really going to be looking out for the citizens, or am I going to have to go shoot some National Guard motherfucker in the goddamn eyeballs?
No.
Because but see my point. I mean,
so here's my whole theory.
There's so many unanswered questions. We've never been in a situation like that.
Yeah. So here's my theory, and this is just a theory. I don't know. I don't think that the National Guard would back Trump or go for whatever Trump says. What I'm concerned about is that clearly he can have the Department of Homeland Security and the Border Patrol do whatever he decides to do. And that's what I would be afraid of. It's because those people will apparently, however, the only other saving grace that I can think of, okay, is that it's possible that the Department of Homeland Security and the Border Patrol, okay, will only follow orders from the people who are in charge. And if he is just like, no, I'm not taking that, I'm not accepting that, I'm still president, there's nothing you can do about it, I don't think that they'll follow him anymore. I don't think they'll do what he says. I think that it would be, if he started a civil war, bro, he would be so outnumbered.
The biggest problem is this. And I might be wrong where I'm saying the biggest problem, but one of the problems, let me rephrase it. One of the problems that might arise from that is the fact that constitutionally, even if he's out of power, he always has Secret Service for the rest of his life. So even if somebody tries to get close to him to overthrow that, the Secret Service is going to have to protect him. They're sworn to protect him.
Sure.
So at that point,
I would also be willing to bet that there's at least one or two of those guys that's willing to die just so he can die.
I'd be willing I think I'd be willing to jump in with you on that bet.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah. I don't know. But like I said, I mean, the last time a war was fought in this country, there was not the organized police departments like we have now. Right. The military was not what it was then. You know, there's so many differences.
Oh yeah.
We've even added states since then. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's so many other things.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
and that's what I don't
unanswered.
The only thing that I can come up with even, so like, my question is, if we were to have a civil war, where would they fight the civil war? Like, would they just plant a stake in a land and be like,
right the fuck outside our door?
Exactly.
It would be anywhere and everywhere.
Exactly.
And I would be out there just beating some busy.
And that's what I'm afraid of. However, I also have.
I'd be afraid.
I also have a little bit hope that they would go to like Kansas or Nebraska and be like, hey, let's fight this out on a farm somewhere.
No, they're not going to fight that out anywhere. They're going to fight it out right outside our front door, whether it's here in Leesburg, Virginia, or in Bowie, Maryland, or in, Orlando, Florida. If a civil war broke out because this motherfucking Cheeto does not leave the office after he's voted out, what happens?
We just, it's gonna
We go to war with our neighbor. And trust me, the guy lives next door. He's a prick. I can't wait to punch that guy in the face legally. I have no idea. I'm just joking. His wife, I don't know. I mean, his wife is hot though, so who knows? Christina has joined the conversation and she is staring at me like I'm an asshole now.
Oh, I bet.
But I don't know. I mean, we don't know. I mean, we can look at, oh, here's what the Constitution says, or here's what this law says, or this law, but we don't know what's going to happen until it happens, if it even happens. Let's just pray that it doesn't happen.
I'm gonna pray hard. I'm gonna meditate on it. I'm gonna do all the things. I don't even know how to meditate, but I'm gonna figure it out and make it not happen.
Yeah.
Manifesting all the things.
Oh, I agree.
All the woo-woo.
Let's just hope for the best.
No, I'm trying, but I'm legitimately terrified. And sincerely, I have an escape plan to Canada. Like, if they won't take me and I can't claim asylum somehow, I'm just gonna have to run through the woods.
Canada will not. No, they won't take us.
Cool. Well, I'm gonna run through the woods with their kids, and then I'm gonna be an immigrant, and they're gonna have to throw me and my kids in jail. So
I don't know. We've learned from Bam Bam that Trudeau's kind of a dick, so who knows?
I don't think he's a dick. He just likes to spend other people's money.
I don't know.
Which is the thing that happens to everybody. He's a hot dick if he's a dick, though. I'm just saying.
Yeah. We've established that. All right. So that's what I wanted to talk about. I just don't know. It was nice to hear your opinion because, like I said, I talked about this on Friday and I was just kind of spouting off at the mouth, and it was nice to have somebody to spout to tonight.
Yeah, I got you. You know what I'm most terrified of, though, genuinely, is like a World War II situation. And I think that it could be a possibility.
You know, now that you've said that, the first word that came to my mind is Russia.
Mm-hmm.
Who's to say that Russia doesn't support Trump and his people, and they come over here to
Well, they do.
I know, but what I'm saying is, in that situation, who's to say that the Russian military doesn't come over here and basically say, if you don't fall in line with what Trump wants, you're dead?
Yeah, that might be
it might happen. I'll punch Putin in the face.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I don't give a fuck.
I'll film it. It's gonna be awesome.
You know what? Now that once this goes live tomorrow or today, whatever you want. If y'all are watching this, y'all know that I had a little prelude that was by myself. Y'all know that this portion is recorded on Sunday and we're airing this live on Monday just because of situations.
Yeah.
But either way, the live version of me earlier in the episode told you that this was pre-recorded. But anyway, I lost my train of thought. Oh, when this does go live, you don't think that me saying Putin punch in face and phrases like that are being tracked now? And now they're looking at me going, whoo, this motherfucker here.
Oh, honey.
Oh,
you.
Give me my vodka. I must go after this motherfucker.
Motherfucker.
Fuck that guy. This is Russia.
This is Russia. I like your Russian accent. You should do that more often. That was kind of cool.
I've never done one. It was the first time ever.
Oh, you did it very good. Very well. Not very good. English good.
Yeah, I'm sure it's pretty shitty, but
I'm getting tired now.
It's as good as because you and I were up until 3:00 this morning talking.
I know. I didn't wake up until like 11, and my husband had to wake me up, and I hate sleeping that late. It makes me so upset.
It was noon before I got up, and I felt refreshed.
Well, good for you. Better day today.
Today's been a better day.
Good.
Yeah, today's definitely a better day.
Was that your phone?
That was my my old person pick your pills alarm. It's now time to take my Lexapro and my anti-anxiety drug in order for me to not be crazy.
Yay, no crazy. Yeah, I meant to ask you.
Yeah.
Never mind.
No, ask.
No, because I'm going to ask you tomorrow on the mental health show.
Yes, absolutely. And I would use this time to promote the mental health show, but by the time this goes live, it'll already have happened.
Right.
So make sure you watch the mental health show next Monday,
Yeah.
where we don't even know what the topic will be, because honestly, we don't even know what the topic is today, tomorrow, whatever the case might be.
Actually, go back and watch it now because I'm going to interview Derek about his mental health.
Oh, that's what it's going to be about. Fantastic. Okay, cool.
So there you go.
So that's going to be an interesting conversation earlier today that happened earlier. That was a great interview, Kat. Thank you very much for that
You're
interview.
so welcome. Thank you for answering honestly.
People watching this are going to be like, what the fuck?
Oh, yeah, right? Oh man. it's
But
gonna be-
but the people that don't watch it live Monday, that are watching it like Thursday, are going to be like, what the fuck is going on?
yeah. Luckily, it's at the
So
end. They'll be okay.
we recorded this on Sunday night.
Yeah.
It's airing live Monday night.
Yeah. We tried to at some point like not make it so confusing, but now we're getting confused.
And now
Sorry.
I'm just making a joke out of it because it is. But even though that there's a live version of me that will be on his tomorrow, you know, that's going to be doing some type of monologue before I air this portion, which is going to be even more funny because it's going to be all types of fucking confusing. All I know is that I'm enjoying the confusion, and that's just how it goes.
Right. Okay. All
But
right,
anyway,
good
thank
now.
you very much for joining me on Suck It. You know, I miss having you on this part. You know, I love having us on do the mental health hour together, but to be able to talk freely like that and like
Right.
this and do it this way is much. I enjoy this much more. I do and love the mental health hour, and I enjoy doing that. But this is our bread and butter, and this is where you and I became what we are as friends. And I miss doing this with you. So thank you very much for joining with me tonight.
Of course, my love. Mwah.
But either way, I'm gonna cut back to real Derek now and let him do the outro, because who knows what he has to say, because it's 24 hours later and we don't know. So either way, for Sunday Derek and Sunday Cat, we'll see you next Monday. I don't even fucking know. Peace. That was confusing even for me. So there's the recording episode. I thought that was a very good conversation that we had with Parul Agrawal. Definitely a motivational type person. You know, came from nothing in India and then turned her life into what it is today. You know, best-selling author, an entrepreneur, a motivational speaker, TED talker. Lots of cool stuff going on. And then Kat and I got into a very confusing conversation about what potentially could happen if Trump says, I'm not leaving office. It's a question that, again, still to this day, I don't have an answer. I wish I did, but unfortunately I just don't. But we'll see. Okay. Wow. FYI, you put shit like this on my stream, I will block you. Just saying. Especially when it comes from 3 different people. Don't do this on my stream. I will block you. For those of you listening to the podcast, I apologize. You don't know what the hell's going on, but idiot people posting on my thing. Buy followers. I'm not buying followers. Are you fucking crazy? No, that's the dumbest thing to possibly do. Don't. If you're a new podcaster, if you're a new Instagram influencer, don't ever buy followers. Stupid. But anyway, it's been an interesting night. But so here's the big announcement for tomorrow. Tomorrow, again, like I said, we have Jason performing at 9:00 East, 6:00 West. Come on and perform. I think he said 3 or 4 songs. And then the interview that I have that I said was a mystery guest. His name is Alessandro. Oh, crap. I forgot his last name. Alessandro Fulcito. He's actually a stuntman and a former Italian Special Forces captain. And the reason why it's so cool to get him on is because this stuntman has been in such movies as Fast 7, Spider-Man Homecoming, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Infinity War, and my favorite movie of all time, the greatest movie to ever hit the silver screen, in my opinion, Avengers Endgame. This gentleman did stunts in that movie. And I am so stoked to talk to this guy. And I'm so stoked to show it to you tomorrow. So, for myself, for Kat, who is not really here today, but she was virtually here on a recorded episode, I bid you guys adieu. Tomorrow, 8 p.m. East, 5 p.m. West, same time, same channel, with Alessandro Felicio, and Jason at 9 p.m. East, 6 p.m. West. Guys, it's always been a pleasure. I look forward to talking to you guys tomorrow. And until then, peace.